Hi, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to Lipedema Wellness Conversations with Gail. That's me. And friends. My friend today is Bryan Hayward.
Me.
Bryan Hayward is a CBD consultant. His business, his own company is Natural Wellness Boston, out of the Boston area, of course. And he's here with us today to discuss some things about lipedema. Hopefully, not lipedema. Excuse me. We will talk about lipedema, but we'll also talk about CBD oil and how some of us with lipedema find pain relief and pain management using CBD oil. Bryan has been working with Lipedema Simplified since late December 2021, and he has been able to help many of the members of our community. And when I look at to see who's here, I do believe that there are people already here who are some of his um, clients and some of the people that he has helped. So please make sure that you put your name in the chat. Let us know where you are from right there in the comments. And if you have any love for us whatsoever, give us a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, make sure you mash that heart. Because right now I see we have 13 viewers, but we want to see your love. So, hi, Marilee. She's from Washington, and she's the only person I see who's willing to share that they are here. So, make sure you give us a comment. So, like I said, today we have Bryan Hayward from the Boston area, and hi, Vicky from Michigan. And Bryan is here to tell us about his journey, not only with discovering how CBD oil has helped him, but also how he became involved with the lipedema community. So we have Karen here from Scanditariota. Oh, I'm going to butcher that name. Anyway, she's from North Carolina. And then Mary Lee from Boise, Idaho. Hi, Mary Lee. I'm Gail Straker from Kuna, Idaho. So we know where we are. So anyway, Bryan, um, you will you explain to us or tell us how you um, discovered that CBD oil works for you?
Okay. Hi, folks. I'm really glad you're here, and I'm happy to be here, but I'm very nervous. So I'll try to calm down and just talk about my experience with CBD. What I've had arthritis pretty badly, even from my teenage years on, and I hurt my leg at one point, and my knee seems to have grown twice its size, over the years, many, many times. And I think the arthritis picked up pretty early. And so certain things I haven't been able to do the way I want to. And then as time went along, I've developed this osteoarthritis thing. I don't know. It looks how
Pull
bad.
your hands back a little bit further so they can see your
Put
hands.
them
See, they're
in
pretty.
pretty
No, pull
knuckly.
them back toward your body.
Oh,
Yeah, put them
yes.
back toward your body. See,
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
gnarly.
Oh, God. Now, yeah. Anyways, it's hard to be cool when you got hands that look like that. But what's happened for me over the years is that little by little, I began to not be able to do things that I wanted to do, and that was pretty frustrating for me because I've always been pretty active, and not being able to like do things with my hands because I used to see that commercial on TV where the lady would be buttoning her shirt and she'd go, wow, like that. And that's kind of the way I was all the time. It's like I wasn't, I would just do something small and there would be sudden sharp pains. And so I'd always been looking for things. And my doctors told me that, I would take ibuprofen like it was candy. And Tylenol, and Tylenol didn't seem to work as well as ibuprofen. But doctors have told me that you cannot do that. If you keep taking ibuprofen, you're going to end up with stomach ulcers and all kinds of trouble that won't be worth all that you did. So I kind of ended up thinking that I just had to have pain. And and there's a nurse friend of my daughter's. My daughter is a midwife, and a friend of hers that is a nurse had told her that she used CBD with her clients, the nurse's clients, and that it worked really well. So I tried CBD, like that was like 5 or 6 years ago, and I was really surprised because the first thing I did is I tried a salve and I put it on my hands, and within about 10 minutes the pain went away. I mean, it'd been like 20 years of not having pain all the time in my hands, particularly my knees. And and so that surprised me. And then there was a tincture that I tried, and that seemed to work too. So I've been taking a tincture or gelatin capsules uh, through via the mouth and salve on anything that hurts. Like if I hurt my shoulder, like I'll just put salve on it for a couple of days, and it seems to heal a lot quicker than it ever used to. So because I've got a bad shoulder also besides the hands and everything else. But so CBD worked really well for me. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to try to find out. I'm a chemical engineer, retired chemical engineer, and I like to learn about stuff and I like technical things, and I kind of wanted to understand chemically and scientifically why does CBD work, because it was like really odd that CBD did so many things and people claimed it did all kinds of things. It's kind of like Gail says it's snake oil sales. It's like you get on the back of a wagon and you're yelling to everybody, it cures everything. But it surprisingly does help with a lot of things, and there are technical reasons why it does. And so that's a lot of what I've spent time doing. But when I went on the internet and I tried to learn about CBD, just because of my technical background, I could tell when people didn't know what they were talking about and were explaining how CBD works. And that's kind of rampant in our industry, is that the people who are selling it generally don't know much about it. All they know is that people want it and they can make a lot of money. And so a lot of big corporations jumped in, just a lot of glad handers. And so I got really frustrated with that. And I felt like I had no idea how to tell whether a product was good or it wasn't, whether it was going to help me or it wasn't. I didn't know what do you measure for strength with CBD? I just didn't understand that. I finally found several organizations of neurologists, medical people, all medical people who have been studying CBD for many years. And it's been illegal to study it in a lot of times. So it's been kind of tricky for the medical community to study it, because in certain countries, and in this country too, it was considered to be a class 1 drug for a long time, but it's not anymore. So
Now, Bryan, is it legal in all 50 states here in the United States?
I believe it's legal in all 50 states because of the Farm Act. The 2018 Farm Act, which wasn't very long ago, said federally that CBD, which is made from hemp, is different than marijuana, and they no longer classified CBD as a class 1 drug. And then little by little, the states individually began to allow it and legalize it. And now, as far as I know, every state in the union in the country does have it legalized. And the federal government is still semi illegal as far as the federal government goes, but the federal government for years has not interfered at all with it. So state by state, there are regulations. Like the state of Massachusetts that I'm in, they regulate it very tightly.
Right. And I know that we have had people ask us if they took CBD, would it show up on a urine test,
Yeah.
a drug test? Um, because CBD, like, it doesn't have absolutely zero THC. It has such a minute amount.
Yeah.
It has a trace amount in it, that it might show up on a drug test. You can't guarantee that it won't. It's
That's
kind of
correct.
like it might, but it might not. And that's where the federal government
Yeah.
comes into play, correct? If you're a federal employee and you have to do
You're
a
a federal employee, you really can't take a chance. I and like one of the lipedema ladies that I know is a bus driver, and in her city where she's a bus driver, they said to her, if you test positive there for this, you're out. So she
right,
can't do it. So there's certain kinds of jobs that they say, if you test positive at all for any slight amount of THC, which THC is the chemical in marijuana that gets people high. CBD, you could drink a gallon of it and it wouldn't get you high. So
right.
that, a lot of people do ask, I don't want to get high from taking this thing. And, I don't either. And so, uh, you know, so I studied that pretty carefully. And what the bottom line is that full spectrum CBD is CBD that comes from the whole flower. And hemp has very little, whole flower from a hemp plant. Hemp has very little THC in it, but it has up to 0.3% THC. Now, marijuana will have 20, 30, 40% THC. So we're not even in the same world as marijuana. So there's a little bit of THC in there. And chemically wise, when you have even just a little bit of a compound in there, it can help other compounds to work. And so catalyst is a term that they use for it, but it can make the other chemicals work. And it appears that from the research that I've read, having a little bit of THC in there improves the effectiveness of a variety of the other compounds in CBD.
Yeah. So, if I were going to be looking for CBD for a
Right.
treatment, like, let's just say that I'm not sleeping well, or my legs are jumpy and things like that. I know personally, because I have been taking CBD since, well, maybe a month or 2, 3 months after you started working with Lipedema Simplified. I started taking CBD, and I found that my hands stopped itching and my legs stopped jumping at night, and that because of all that, if that was the only thing, I slept better.
Mm,
So if I was looking for a product to use in the evening, what would I look for? What type of thing would I be looking for?
yeah. Okay. The well, basically there's full spectrum CBD is the whole plant, and so it's the natural, complete way. And farmers, I only work with farmers that I know, and I've been to their farm, I've met them, that kind of thing, because I want to know how they uh, produce their plants, and whether they're organic, and whether they um, there's way when you process the hemp, if you heat it up, it dries much more quickly, so you can make tons more of it that way. But a real honest farmer never would do that. They all hang them in a barn and let them air dry without heat, because heat dries off compounds that are in the natural plant that it uses to help itself. So, uh, yeah, now I've even lost what was what your question was? I get so
Right. How do I find a product to use?
oh, the product.
What
Yeah.
type of product am I looking for?
So I always look for USDA certified organic or USDA supervised, like in the state of Massachusetts. The state of Massachusetts, the USDA certifies the state of Massachusetts to make sure that the hemp is grown within all of the guidelines, including organically. So each state has different rules on that, but what we're really looking for is to know what source the CBD is coming from. And so I put on the label what farm I get it from. So if I send somebody gel capsules, that have CBD in it, that brand of product has the farm that it's coming from. And so it's important to know where it's from. If you don't know where it's coming from, then it's likely coming from China. 70% of what is sold on the internet or in your local stores and things like that, the least expensive way to get CBD into a bottle is to buy it from China or other countries that have no regulations. And then that way they use it as a cover crop. It's hemp sucks all the contamination out of the ground. And so when you buy it from a place that is not really highly regulated, you're going to end up with all kinds of contaminants. And so 70% of what gets sold in the United States has high levels of metal and pesticides in it beyond the limits that are recommended for any kind of food product. So we have to be really careful about what it is that we're putting in our bodies. So the only way I know to be sure of that is I meet the farmer and I review his crops. I know what the regulations are that he has to follow. And so Vermont and Massachusetts are the two states that I get any of my products from now. And I'll look at anybody, but I have to know the farmer and I have to know how they're producing it. So if you buy something in a pharmacy or at a gas station or any of those places, you have no idea what you're getting. If it doesn't say on the label what farm it's from, you've got no idea. It's bought open market, cheapest possible price, and it's going to not be very good product.
Right. And I do know that I had tried CBD before and I didn't have any results. And so after I talked to you and started really thinking about it, I realized that probably what I was buying had very little CBD in
Right.
it,
All right.
or it had a lot of other different ingredients in it, or it was a CBD isolate. Is that
Isolate.
what
Yep.
isolate? Which means it was only the CBD and not the other compounds that work together to give it the best results.
And the scientists have studied the difference between the full spectrum and the CBD isolate. The CBD isolate has no real effect because it's only effective in a very small range and you can't predict it. So CBD, even if it says CBD, if it doesn't say full spectrum CBD, then it's unlikely that you're getting anything but the isolate, because the isolate, they can make it in very large volume, very cheap. And it does
Right.
almost nothing for you. So that's the problem. Most people have tried CBD and it didn't work. And the
Right.
reason why is because they're not getting good quality.
So since you've been working with us, um, about how many of our community members actually come to you and get help with understanding and purchasing CBD?
It's between like 60 to 70 right now. 60 to 70 women have tried it. And almost every woman that I have talked to, because I call everybody, I try to call them within a week or so of their first order, but sometimes it's 2 weeks. But I try to talk to every single woman that's tried this in the lipedema community because I wanted to find out whether it was really going to work or not. And almost everyone has found a significant reduction in pain. Quite a number of the ladies that I've talked to were somewhat bedridden. Many of them are housebound, and many of them are in wheelchairs. And I was shocked to start to learn how many people are affected by lipedema and what it's done to them over the years. And all the medical community tells them it's their fault. And we know that it's not your fault. And so
Right.
it's pretty exciting to hear a woman tell me, and quite a number of these women have said, "You've changed my life. I couldn't even go out of the house. Now I can go out of the house. I can go to the mailbox. I can go to my car." These are things that women that have this disease at a fairly heavy stage of it they become debilitated, and it's just and the pain. Women talk about describing the pain as pretty excruciating pain for many of them, and people who can't sleep. If you can't sleep at night, your whole body, your whole system gets completely disrupted, and it's very, very bad for us emotionally, physically. It's really damaging to our immune system to not get enough sleep. So a lot of people take it before they go to bed at night. And what they found is, like Gail said, restless leg syndrome. I, it's that's not really, it's the big thing about it that it's well known for is reducing inflammation. But I've just little by little found people who said, I've got restless leg syndrome, and it made it go away. So it doesn't work that way for everybody, but a pretty significant percentage of the people that I talk to taking it at night now, it has eliminated most of the pain because they wake up because they move and they get pain, or they're jumping, their body's jumping, and the CBD calms it down and does a lot for reducing
Right.
it. Mm.
Right. And so I do know that we've had several of our members who have said it has made the world of difference. Besides like restless legs and the sleep, how long does it take um, usually for women to see, or those of us with lipedema to see that the pain starts to decrease?
Well, what I encourage, just because I've been through this so many times with the lipedema ladies now in the last 6 or 8 months, that most of the ladies find that they try using the CBD, the liquid under the tongue, or gel caps. Either one is fine. You don't use both normally. You just use one once in the morning and once at night for a couple of weeks. When you start on it, just once in the morning, once at night for 2 weeks, and then see how that affects you. Most people are going to find it significantly reduces their pain. And then after that, for the next 2 weeks, I suggest that people drop it down to one a day, because if it works at two, that gets it all in your system and it's running and it's working great. If you cut back to one a day, you may get the same effect. You don't want to take any more of this than you need to get the pain relief and the anxiety relief, the restless leg syndrome, whatever it is, relief that you're getting. Try after you get relief to back off and use less, because it's less expensive that way. You want to get the pain relief at the least expense. That's your goal. So start off with two twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, and then do that for a couple of weeks, and then try a couple of weeks with just once a day. And if the once a day you seem to notice the pain or discomfort's coming back, just go back up to two, and you know where you need to be in order to get pain relief. Some people take more than that, and it's fine. It's not harmful. It just, it's cost and benefit for you.
Right, right. And we are going to answer any questions. If you have questions, please throw them in the comments. Bryan's happy to answer questions. While you're doing that, I want to just let people know that we have seen. I've seen you come in. I've seen Marilee and Vicky from Michigan and Karen from North Carolina. Of course, Marilee from Boise, Idaho, and also Phyllis, Keith here in Idaho. And then I have Facebook user from Wisconsin, Vanessa from Dallas, Julie Morris from North Carolina, and several other ladies. Debbie's here from Michigan. And so a couple of questions. The first question that I want to show is from Debbie. She says, how do you get it?
How do you get the CBD?
How do you get CBD?
Hmm? Yeah.
How do you get CBD?
Yeah, call Bryan Hayward.
Oh, Bryan Hayward. Well, you can
If you,
email Bryan, and he actually has he'll have a one-on-one conversation with you to be
yeah,
able
I
to.
really love to talk to somebody, when they're wondering about it and they've got questions, I'm happy to talk to people. So you can email me. You can call me. My phone number is 508 450 2010. And if
Okay,
there are
here,
any
let me put
stalkers out there, I'm old, so I'm not going to be much use to anybody.
508
450
210. What?
450 2010.
450 2010.
Yep, 2010.
I'm putting your phone number on YouTube and Facebook. Watch out.
Oh my goodness, how do you like that? People can find me now. I
Yep.
really do enjoy the phone calls. I love talking to people, and I can ask.
Um,
If you go
and I,
to,
and I can tell you truthfully, Bryan gets a lot of phone calls, and any of you stalkers out there, you're a hoot, Bryan. Um, any of you stalkers out there, he's an old man. You don't
hey, I'm
necessarily
too old.
want to stalk him. Um, he's fun. I enjoy, as you can tell. I'm gonna also put up another question. Um,
And then you're going to slide in my URL for the website. If
I
you
am going to
want to go
put
to the
in,
website, I'll
we
tell you.
are okay. So this one has a question.
Okay.
Are there different strengths that you sell?
I have the ability to sell different strengths, but the strength that I only have been selling the strongest ones of each thing that I have because it's not cost effective to use lower strength ones. So the tincture that I sell has 1,800 milligrams of CBD in it, and there are some that are higher than that out there, and it's just how high do you want to go. But anybody that says they've got 3,000 or 5,000 milligrams of CBD in there, I'd be really cautious about that. There's almost no one doing that, and some people are claiming they've got more CBD than a bottle can hold if it were pure CBD. So you just have to be careful about wild and crazy comments. And one of those things is, okay, so 1,800 milligrams, that the selling price, you pay for CBD based on the milligrams of CBD in a container. So when there's 1,800 milligrams of CBD in a container that I sell, the market varies between 10 cents down to 5 cents per milligram of CBD. And I work all this out. If you come to the pain clinic that I have Friday, I do all of the numbers out for you to be able to figure all this out. But basically, if you take the milligrams like 1,800 and multiply it by 0.1, just move the decimal point over 1, that's $180. That's the most you should pay for 1,800 milligrams. The lower end of what you should pay would be half of that, $90. So I'm sure this has already gotten too technical, but too complicated. But 10 cents, 5 to 10 cents per milligram of CBD, and I'll give you a listing on Friday at the pain clinic, so you can make a copy of it and keep it with you, so you know. But so I sell 1,800 milligrams for $95 with a 15% discount for people who buy it on a regular basis.
So Debbie says, I'm allergic to a lot of things. Is this all natural?
There's nothing in, well, for example, the gel caps that I sell now that has 30 milligrams of 25 milligrams of CBD in each capsule. The only thing that's in there is CBD and a carrier oil, which is made from hemp seeds. There's no CBD in the hemp seeds, but the carrier oil is also hemp. So there's nothing outside of hemp in that. In the other, and there are other products that I have that have only, yep, go ahead. Yeah, that's a salve. Now, I haven't even mentioned the salve thing. If you go on the website, naturalwellnessboston.com, you'll see a picture of that salve, and you'll see a picture of 1,800 milligrams of tincture, and you'll see a capsule. You want to buy either the tincture or the capsule, and you want to buy the salve. And if you order those things if you want to get that done, soon to get product to you. I would do that. Buy a tincture or a gel cap and buy the salve. That'll get you started, and then you can I'll give you a 1 month plan on what you're supposed to try over the first 30 days, and you'll know very quickly whether it's going to work. The unique thing about most of the salves and the salve that Gail just showed you, when you rub that on, within 10 minutes, you will know whether it's going to work for you or not, because the pain really drops dramatically within 10 or 15 minutes.
Actually, it kind of feels like, if anybody's ever used like just a hand, like bag balm, just a real heavy, like a hand salve. That's what it feels like. Smells a little herbally, planty, and just a little bit. This is the salve that he sells.
And the ingredients in that are on the back of it. So there's possibilities that you could be allergic to something in the salve, but the
right.
gel caps, there's nothing in them. But
it has apricot seed oil, beeswax, coconut oil, shea butter, vitamin E, lavender, and organic CBD. Those are the only things that are in it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any lanolin or any of that other stuff in it. So we have a couple more questions. I need to take a look and see how long we've been on here. We've been on here 31 minutes. Okay, so we have a couple of questions. Debbie wants to know where you're located. He's located in the Boston area. A bottle of capsules or the gel caps has 60 25 milligram,
60 of them, 25 milligrams. Yeah.
60 of them. So if you take one a day, that's 2 months supply. If you take two a day, that's a month supply.
Right.
Recommended dose is between 15 and 30
milligrams at a time. But I recommend that people just do that, whatever they're taking, 25 to 30 milligrams twice a day to start, and then they can back down from there if it works for them. So that's probably the best way to put it. And I have information on how to take it and everything. So I'm located in Northborough, Mass. My address is everywhere. You're welcome to. I live on 3 Farmhouse Road in Northborough, Massachusetts.
Like he says,
come and look in my windows and stalk me. You could do that too if you have.
Oh, Bryan, you're a hoot. So anyway, I do want to let you guys know that we are having a pain clinic on Friday. I have put the registration. You don't have to worry about copying all this down. I've put it in the comments. And the best way, if you can't remember any of this, is to email him at brian@lipedema-simplified.org. Yep. It's like all of our addresses here at Lipedema Simplified. Remember to spell it right, because I misspell it once in a while. Mm-hmm. Remember to put the hyphen between Lipedema and Simplified, and it's just our first names. I also want to let everybody know that we are. Thank you, Bryan, very much for coming tonight. I'm glad that everybody got their questions answered. I hope that if you're listening to this right now, or if you're listening in the replay, that Bryan has given you some hope that maybe we can get some pain management involved. And I want to make sure that you hold on. You get the registration that we have one more free webinar on Thursday for our free webinar series. I'm putting that also in the comments. And if you haven't signed up for it yet, and you want to sign up for it, you can. Let me make sure I got the right one. here it is. If you haven't signed up for it yet, you can reach out to me. You can even if you were to email Bryan, he would make sure that you
Yeah.
could get a link to register for the free webinar that we're having on Thursday. He can also make sure that you get a registration link for the pain clinic that he and I are holding at 1:30 p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. He's Eastern, so it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday. We would really hope that you are able to come and join us, no matter where you're coming from, whether you're listening to this now live or whether you're watching the replay. Um, we want you to know you are not alone in any of this. There is hope, and we are here for you. Here at Lipedema Simplified, we always want you to know you can reach out to us. You can talk to us. You can send us messages. You can call us. We are here for you. You are not alone. And with that, Bryan, do you have any last words?
Yes, the event of the October 21, 22, and 23. We're going to be all there for the whole weekend,
I'm
talking
gonna.
about everything about lipedema. So, did you already put that
That's
up or
true.
not?
I didn't. Here you
Okay,
go. Save
there it
those
is.
dates:
Say those
October
dates.
21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It's so close away. It's a 3-day event. It's very collaborative. You're not going to want to just sit and listen to this with your headphones. You are going to want to be there in full person because we're going to talk about it. Bryan will be there
Mm-hmm.
for before and after each day. We do a thing called Coach's Corner, and he will be there in the Coach's Corner in the morning and in the evening. And not only that, is he will be holding a conversation for anybody who wants to talk to him during our lunch break, our meal break. And thank you for reminding me about that. So that's another thing. If you haven't registered for that yet and you want to register for it, start by registering for the um, the free webinar series, and by coming to the free webinar that's on Thursday, and by coming to see Bryan and me during the pain clinic on Friday. Anything else? Let me check the comments, see if there's any more comments. Nope. Hey, everyone, it's good to see you. Bryan, do you have one more last
Oh yeah.
statement?
I'm so happy to meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to having conversations with you. Just hang out with us, and we will help you any way we can.
Thank you so much, Bryan, for being here. And thank